legacy would a first title impact more?
Look, I think it helps both of their legacies. To me, Chris Paul has cemented himself as a top 5 point guard of all time. Game 6 and Game 7 aside last year, Doggy. No, he is a top 5 point guard of all time.
Yeah.
And James Harden is a generational player. He helped change the landscape of the modern NBA.
I agree.
With his run with the Houston Rockets. The reason I say it's Harden is it simply comes down to role to me, because more will be asked of Harden for the 76ers to win than will be asked of CP.
Right.
There is a difference, and we discussed this yesterday with Rhonda. We were going back and forth about this. There is a difference to me when you are the 1A or the 1B versus being the third option or the fourth option as far as the legacy conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like Stephen A. is going to disagree with me. I do. The insistence, Doggy, on pointing out how great those 1970 Montreal Canadiens teams. I can't get over it.
You're right.
You always go back to that.
Well, they put it on the board there. They said 76. I had a comment.
That's right.
Go ahead.
Let me chime in. I'm changing my answer because when I thought about it, my original answer was going to be CP3 because I think that I agree with you. I think he's one of the greatest point guards that ever lived. And a championship would cement that. It would leave people like Doggy speechless. They couldn't say another word. They'd have to go on the radio and say, I got to throw my hands up. He's right, it's over. Because I think everything else about him is that great. To be miniature, to be somebody that can't play above the rim, to be the floor general that he has been, this would cement it. But I thought about it a little bit more, and I thought I put on my JJ hat for a second. And I thought, to be literal, I thought about the word legacy. And I said, you know something? In terms of the impact on the legacy, it would be Russell Westbrook. I'm going to ask you to pause for a second and think about this. These are the people that Russell Westbrook has played with. Kevin Durant, James Harden. We're going to throw Serge Ibaka, Reggie Jackson up in there. We're going to throw Paul George up in there. We're going to throw Victor Oladipo up in there. We're going to throw Harden up in there again. We're going to throw Bradley Beal up in there. We're going to throw Anthony Davis and LeBron James up in there. Not one single NBA title to show for it. And on top of it all, he's been much maligned. He's not what he used to be. Distraction, stubborn, not necessarily the greatest point guard in terms of decision-making, but he's been raked through the coals, even though he went 3 consecutive years averaging a triple-double. And on top of all of that, he's gone from Oklahoma City to Houston, Houston to Washington, Washington to L.A., and then got booted out of L.A. before staying in town and remaining with the other team in L.A., a team that initially he wouldn't even give a second thought to because he always wanted to be a Laker. So basically he's stuck. He had no choice but to go there because he wanted to stay home because he's from that area because the other team in town, the main team in town, didn't want him. Think about all the things that have been said about Russell Westbrook. Now, I understand their numbers aren't as effective or as efficient in the half court, but overall offensive efficiency, you know all of this defense. I mean, everything offensively basically has improved for the Clippers since he's been there. So when you look at it from that standpoint, especially with Paul George getting hurt, if Russell Westbrook were to be in a Clippers uniform and, Lord forbid, they win the championship with Russell Westbrook playing a pivotal role in doing so, I can't even imagine anybody whose legacy would benefit more than his, based off of the word legacy. I can't see it.
He's the third wheel on the team.
That's what I'm saying.
So that's why I can't put him there. I'm with JJ, believe it or not. I'm with you on that. funny. Put that in your little podcast.
That's right.
I would take, I think, Harden. And he has not played well. Remember, he has not played well. He had that awful shooting performance against Golden State. Was he 4 for 24 in Game 7 that one year? He was like 0 for 12 from 3. He got taken early on in his career. Now, listen, better teams, Golden State, but he didn't play well in that series. You can't go by the first in the conference final with McHale coaching. You can't go by that first year with OKC because he was sort of a sixth man. So I'm going to throw that one out. And he's bad last year. He's got Embiid. See, the thing about Paul, it helps him. Durant might take the abuse if the Suns falter. If the Sixers falter, it's not going to be Embiid. Nobody's going to get on him. It's going to be Harden.
Yeah.
So as a result, I think Harden's got more at stake. He needs to play well there. He plays well and they win, you can get a lot of the credit. If Paul plays lousy and lose, you're going to kill Durant.
Yeah.
So I would say Harden. You don't like that?
Would a first title impact CP3 or Harden legacy more? And you think
Harden.
By reading that question literally, it gives you the option to take Russell Westbrook?
Because first day.
It's your show.
It's first day.
I'm just saying.
Yes. Exactly.
That option was not presented to me.
But remember, I threw out CP3. That is fair because I just changed course. You are right because I was like this. I was listening to y'all. And I was like this. Damn, I agree with him about CP3, but Westbrook, how could I fail to bring that up?
I'm with Doggy on this one, though. I am with Doggy. And I think you make some great points about Russ. And I also believe that him being there with Paul George being hurt for at least part of this first-round series, if they were to advance to the finals and win the finals at full strength, he's going to have to play a large role for that team. Whereas I think, and Chris has done this for a number of years now as he's aged, and what he's been able to do to extend his career at his size is, unprecedented outside of a few players.
Without question.
John Stockton comes to mind.
Right.
He picks and chooses his spots. And now that they have Kevin Durant, he can do that even more.
That's right.
And that's why I don't think it's Chris. Like, if he were to win, I think we already have him as an all-time great. To me, it's more a personal thing where it cements his own career.
All right, number one. Why is everybody making a big deal about what the Mavericks did on Friday night with Mark Cuban? He did the smart thing. They did not control their destiny when he sat out all the players against the Bulls. OKC did. He could have won the 2 games at the end of the year against San Antonio on Sunday and beat Chicago. Didn't make any difference. Oklahoma City was not losing to Memphis at home if the playoffs were on the line, and they had tiebreaker over Dallas. So if they finished tied, they made it because they beat them 2 out of 3. I would have done the same thing. That pick is more important than letting see if Oklahoma City loses to Memphis, who sat everybody last Sunday. And anybody killing Cuban, I am not a Cuban fan, okay? He is not Walter Brown. Look him up. I am not a Cuban fan, but he was not wrong for what they did on Friday by laying low against Chicago. Good for Dallas. That's point one.
You do have an obligation to tell the audience who the hell is Walter Brown.
Own the Celtics. Own the Celtics.
Okay, which year?
The original owner, for crying out loud.
Okay, I'm just checking.
Jeez.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
You guys agree?
Do you guys want to?
Look, here's the thing, Mad Dog. This is twice now where you have completely contradicted your
What
whole
I usually
thing.
do.
No, you have. You did it on the load management thing when you were talking about Anthony Edwards, and you've done it now. You're the one that espouses the integrity of
This
the
is
game.
a 10th pick, though. They would have lost that pick if they made the playoffs.
He's only pointing out your hypocrisy.
I'm only pointing out
That's
your
all.
hypocrisy. I'm not saying that Dallas was wrong to do it. I'm pointing out your hypocrisy.
The
Listen
inconsistency.
to me anyway. It's something different. You agree? You agree?
I agree with you.
All right, that's one. Number 2.
Okay.
All right, hold on now. The Timberwolves will never win a big game anyway. This is what they're going to do. They're going to split the baby and give Gobert 1 game when they knew they had a 2nd game at home. So if they lost the Lakers, no big deal. Gobert plays the Friday game against who? The New Orleans or Oklahoma City? Nonsense! Tim Connolly, wake up! Here's what you do about Gobert. You're so upset about what he did with Kyle Anderson there on Sunday afternoon. You either throw him out for 2 games and you let him play. That really sends a message that this is not going to be put up with as a member of that franchise. Or 2, you don't suspend him at all and let him play last night. Doing 1 game when you know you got a parachute and you know that he's going to play Friday and you still can make the playoffs, that's ridiculous. That doesn't show anything. That's thoughtless. You either suspend him for 2 if it's that egregious that he punched Anderson, you get him out for the regular season, or you let him play and you fine him. That is he split the baby. You don't do that from a discipline standpoint. 2 or nothing. Don't be crazy. Point point to?
I totally disagree with
All
you.
right.
I totally disagree. Don't give me no crap about splitting the baby. Here's the reality of the situation. If he punched an opponent or something like that, that'll be different. You get into an argument with a teammate of yours that called you the B word, and that was your original reaction. We understand it was wrong. You send him home. You suspend him for 1 game. That's more than enough. Totally fair. I totally disagree.
Don't suspend him at all. Let him play. Either 2 or nothing.
No, it warranted a suspension for 1 game, not 2. That's all.
I'm going to stay out of trouble here.
Okay.
I'm going to stay out of
That's
trouble
right.
here.
I thought that was 2 good ones. I love it. All right, this
They
third
were
one now.
good.
This third one, okay? Now, you know me, the fat guy in Rapid. I like to play these things with Vegas. So before the year began, in October, I come in here and sit next to him. I say, all right, Steve, you're the NBA expert. I love the Wizards at 35.5, the over. Oh, I love it. It's the greatest pick in the world. Brilliant pick. I would have done the same thing. Kuzma, Porzingis, and Paul. He loved the Wizards over. So I played it. All right, they get off to a bad start. Then they play well. A lot of injuries. They lost 10 of 11. Obviously, Beal never plays, which drives me crazy. A lot of injuries. But then they had some good road trips. They won in Detroit. They won in Houston. They won in Dallas. They won in New Orleans. Right before the All-Star break, they beat Portland and Minnesota. I said, holy goodness. I'm in Anguilla sipping cocktails, and they're 30 and 32. All they got to do is win 36 games, and I win their bet. 36 games. Okay? I'm in Anguilla sipping cocktails. There's the ocean. 36. They have Detroit twice, Orlando twice, San Antonio, Houston. There's no way I should lose. So what do? They tank. Nobody plays. They get destroyed by everybody. So I give up the bet. The fat guy in Rapid, same thing. He's my old buddy, Rob.
Fat Rob.
Friday night, they beat the Heat. Friday night, they beat the Heat. They get to 35. I said, holy goodness, this is going to be a miracle of all miracles on Sunday. The resurrection. They win the game Sunday against Houston. I win the plane. He looks good. I get wealthy, and I'm a happy guy. I go to church Sunday. I go to brunch. I'm back with the family. I don't want to drive. I'm looking at my phone for Rockets Wizards. That's sick. It's 35-20. It's 35-20 Washington at the end of the first quarter. I said, holy gosh, I'm up by 15. This is an incredible win. They win the last 2 games at home. I take a nap. I put the Masters on. That guy calls me. Wizards, unreal. I look at the score. They're down at the end of the third quarter. I stay away from the scores. Like an idiot. 2:33 o'clock. I got ramen, Kepka. I put the TV on. It's 103-103 with 4:35 to go on a season win total bet with 4:35 Wizards ball. My youngest son loves Johnny Davis, went to Wisconsin. Greatest player in the world. He flails up shots all over the place. 3 for 15, 5 for 20. I watched for literally a minute. Rockets scored 4 baskets in a row, 114 to 109. They go 35 instead of 36, and I lose a freaking fortune. That's why I lose this stupid show. It drove me crazy, all because this guy right there, I swear to God, get the tape, done. Back in October, I love the Wizards. Take the Wizards. You owe me money. And it wasn't a $100 bet either. And it wasn't 200. It wasn't 300. It wasn't 1,000. It was north of that. That's number 3.
Oh.
I did not know that the bevy of injuries that were going to occur, they actually occurred. I did not know that. And I certainly didn't expect in the Eastern Conference after the top 3 seeds that the Wizards would fall apart like that and Bradley Beal would end up missing as many, because I should have expected Bradley Beal to miss those games. I don't know why I didn't expect that. But they should have had the 36. They tanked it because they knew you bet on them. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.